Top of page 151. Ghosts of War. A bird flies over my head, a very fast bird, nothing more than a dark streak, and it's flying too low. The sound catches up, and I realize this is no bird. A deep gust follows the dark streak over my head. Then the bird explodes about 30 yards away near the helipad. The helipad is another big target for the attacks, to destroy its flat surfaces to hinder the ability for helicopters to land. Smoke and debris fly downward over the helipad. The explosion resonates through my bones, and I see what kind of mortar this is, the most dangerous kind, an airburst. Impact mortars explode when they hit something, but the problem with those is that unless the mortar is right on target, half the shrapnel is embedded into the ground. The airburst mortar that flies over my head attempts to solve the problem of wasted shrapnel. Probably this one uses a radio frequency. Inside the mortar round is a little micro transmitter that sends out a continuous radio signal. As the mortar sends and receives the signal, sort of like a bat flying blind, knows how far off the ground it is at a predetermined measure meant using about 10 feet. The round explodes, and what you get is 100% of the shrapnel flying into your target. The explosion barely breaks my stride. I am going to chow, and that's where I plan on being in a couple of minutes. When the bomb goes off on a convoy, our SOP is a push through. Just keep driving no matter what. This reaction is less about survival than it is about control. Truth is, I have no control over a roadside bomb or IED. I have no control over whether or not an airburst mortar round lands on my head, but I do have control over whether or not I run. Up until this point, mortars are nothing more than a nuisance. If we are outside and hear explosions, we have to stop, find shelter, and wait out of the attack. Mortar attacks just annoy me. They make me feel like a prisoner. But today I'm not going to be made a prisoner by this flying bomb. I'm going to dinner, for God's sake. I have never been close enough to a mortar to hear that deep gush of a flying before it explodes. It's a startling whoosh, a quick displacement of air, and then the boom of an explosion. I keep walking, about to get the gate. I hope I get to see another one explode, just so it will make for a better story, but that probably won't happen. They usually don't launch a second one, and they almost never launch more than two. These mutants, they're costly. Whoosh, whoosh, boom, boom. I get my wish. Two of them, side by side. I can't see them, but their explosions are even louder than the explosions of the first one. I can feel the ground shake. They are close. Just the other side of the wall, I think, 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel. That's 3,750 pounds. It's on the side of the wall. It's time to swallow my pride and run. Whoosh, boom. Another bird, way too fast for a normal bird. I'm 100 yards away from the barracks, and I turn a quick circle, looking for a closer refuge. You know where you are? A soldier yells to me over the last explosion. He's 20 yards away and sees the confusion on my face. All his weight is on one foot, ready to take off towards his barracks. He wants to make sure I'm okay before he runs, because that's what soldiers do. That's how we stay alive. I shake my head and yell, "No, follow me," he says. Whoosh, boom, and I don't argue. He runs around the side of the nearest building to what appears to be sort of alleyway. He runs past a closed door and continues around the far side of the building. What's wrong with the door, I wonder? Whoosh, boom! The mortar lands behind me, always. The ground shakes. Think being chased by a T-Rex. Where will the next one land, I wonder? My guide runs along a chain-link fence that stretches between two barracks buildings, converted prisons. He runs towards the fence's open gate. Here's the dirt run into gravel, and his feet slip beneath him. Whoosh, boom, he goes down. If I didn't know better, I would reach for my field dressing or tourniquet. The timing for him to slip on the gravel couldn't have been better. It's almost comical the way it happens. The way he falls at the perfect moment, as though he slid into home plate just as the ball lands in the catcher's mitt, just as his flying bomb lands into our grandma. It's magical the way it happens. I catch with him quickly. You, whoosh, boom, you okay? I yell as I grab the handle of the back of his body armor. Yeah, he says. I help him to his feet. Come on. I follow him to a nearby enclosed stairwell. His quarters at the top of the stairs. The standard awaiting time for an attack in 20 minutes. Whoosh, boom, 20 minutes. A handful of his friends are hanging out in the common area. We walk while we wait. They are Navy. Something to do with intelligence. The guy who led me here is a petty officer, the equivalent of a sergeant in the Army. I asked him about the war, about his mission. He asked me about ours. We talk about the Army and the Navy and about Abu Ghraib. When things are safe, I thank him, shake his hand, and head back to the barracks. When I get back, I want to grab my friends and shake them into understanding the fear, the excitement, the high I'm on. I went to share. Todd Wagner, he's from outside of Dallas. He smiles and nods. He asked me if I wanted to be dealt in. I say yes. And Josh Bono, who's a damn Red Sox fan, wins another hand with a full house. Josh Miller, who grew up milking cows, is thankful he folded. I see the petty officer in the chow hall from time to time. We say hi, nothing too intimate, but that's the way it is, the way it has to be, like magic. When we leave Abu Ghraib and head back to Anaconda, we might have wondered whatever happened to that kid from the Army. Now you see me, now you don't. He helped me when I needed to find cover, and I picked him up when he fell. We are even.